Yes, ma'am. Say hi.
Oh, hi. Did you film me? Did you film me giving orders?
Yeah.
Good.
She's so bossy. She made me carry her second purse.
Oh, don't be such a wimp. In today's episode, we'll be covering our search for the right catamaran for us. Our search started more than 2 years ago when we returned from back-to-back cruises in the Hawaiian and French Polynesian islands, and we decided that exploring the world by water was the future retirement lifestyle that we wanted. We already enjoy sailing and motorboating at the cottage, so why not extend this concept to the winter season? The idea was that we would be like other snowbirds from Canada who fly south, and we would live on a sailboat in warmer climes for the winter. Sort of like snow whales who migrate from Alaska to warm places like Hawaii and the Caribbean by sea. So come along with us today as we cover almost 3 years of boat shopping. Welcome to Second Wind Adventures, where we start the next chapter in our life, where retirement can be fun, exciting, and challenging.
Follow along with us as we continue to transition from our regular full-time work life to a more flexible lifestyle that includes cottage living, adventure travel, and our dream to circumnavigate the globe on a sailing catamaran.
This is us, Alina Monte. We would love if you joined us so that we can share with you the trials of achieving our goals.
Okay, sweetie, where are we?
We're in Miami at the Miami Boat Show.
And we're getting ready to board the ferry over to the boat show.
And we may see our or at least have a good idea of what we want. Very excited.
Our search really began in February 2020 when we went to the Toronto Boat Show during one of those awfully miserable Canadian winter snowstorms, just as something to do. There we started to get a sense of how much sailboats really cost because we really didn't have a clue whatsoever.
Monty and I quickly agreed that the catamaran was the type of boat we wanted. Reason being, we wanted the extra space, and frankly, I'm not a big fan of how monohulls heel while underway. So since there are no catamarans at the Toronto Boat Show, at the last minute we decided to grab a flight to Miami and head to Miami International Boat Show.
When we got there, wow, what a huge show! Eye candy everywhere. It was held at the Miami Marine Stadium at Biscayne Bay, and there were hundreds of watercraft of all shapes and sizes.
We spent 3 whole days at the show just in the sailboat section looking at only catamarans. When we first started our research into sailboats, we really started at ground zero. We didn't even know what criteria we wanted to categorize the boats under, as we hadn't even been on a catamaran larger than a Hobie Cat.
So before we get into all the boats I drooled all over, I wanted to preface this video by saying that this is not a video on every boat we saw, but rather we wanted to give you our impression of the various catamarans based on our criteria which we developed after the show based on our needs which evolved along the way. When we started looking at the Miami Boat Show, we began with the brands that had the biggest presence and where the largest crowds were, like the Fontaine Pajot brand and the Sayona 47. There must have been 5 or 6 models in different sizes and configurations, and we went through all of them. This gave us a chance to determine the size of living space we would be comfortable with, and we felt that a boat in the 45 to 55 foot range would give us the best space for the way we want to live on a boat, with still enough room for family and guests, including mother-in-laws. Had the camera on when I was saying that, so make sure I never show this video to your mother. Or for that matter, my mother. If my mother ever heard me say that, that'd be it.
Some general takeaways were that the cabins and salon were very spacious and well laid out. As some people might say, they're like floating condomarans and are very well appointed with creature comforts that you would find in an apartment. However, we did start noticing that the fit and finish of the materials used, although functional, they reminded us of the furnishings we bought for our first apartment after graduating from college. There were also limited choices in terms of any customization, and you had to pretty much stick with their fixed or standard floor plans.
We also noted the helm stations were either dual aft at the stern, a single offset to the starboard behind the bulkhead, or an elevated single flybridge helm on the coach roof. Of these, the single bulkhead helm seemed to be what we preferred given our desire to be out of the elements and the sun while sailing. From a sailing perspective, the aft helms gave the best vantage point for seeing the sail trim. We also noted that these boats were very focused on maximizing exterior sunpad lounging area for people interested in sunbathing, of which we were not.
The Lagoon was very similar to FP. There was lots of space with very wide hulls. However, upon review of their specifications for their size, we realized that their weight would be a penalty to performance.
The flybridge option on the Lagoon offered very good lines of sight to the corners of the boat. Every helm configuration has its trade-offs, but for us, we began to feel that a lower, more sheltered helm was what we would like. Even after sailing on the midship offset helm on our training boat in Grenada, we found that we still got more sun and weather exposure than we really wanted.
Yeah, but she's got to work a couple of years before she retires.
Oh yeah. Well, that's for a work station. It's perfect.
I'm thinking this is her office.
Good point.
You want to make a lot of calls. You don't want to be up deck where I'd be making a lot of noise and yelling shit at people. So, yeah,
Let's go back to the 42, but that's the next one for an office. It's perfect actually, and this closes
yeah, it's got lots of light too. So that's why when I saw the layout here, I thought, this desk isn't bad because this is where I stick it. Oh, it's perfect. Yeah. Right now, they're interested in come and take a look. Okay, this is the Leopard 50.
One interesting configuration we came across that we liked was the forward cockpit on the Leopard catamarans. Not only did it give you access to the forward or bow area of the boat without going around the outside of the salon, but it was a really nice semi-sheltered area for lounging.
Yeah.
I like this a lot actually.
What, this cockpit area? I thought this is what we didn't like about this line of boats.
What do you mean?
That we never use this cockpit area.
I would use this. This is actually okay, especially because you can come out like that. This is actually, it makes absolute sense. All the other cockpits, you either have a little window that you can communicate or you don't have access from here to the main area. So I think this is brilliant because you can open the door and you can come here and
looks like a flip-up table too.
Yeah. I think this is very smart. This is actually very smart. I wish other boats had this arrangement.
Well, some do, some don't. I mean, that's the... Thought we'd go swimming a lot. Okay, let's do a tour around front. Pretty big cockpit area. Predominantly occupied by a table. Yeah.
From a pricing perspective, we found that the production brands we saw came in fairly reasonable starting prices, but they quickly escalated and you could end up with options which would increase the base boat's price by over 50%. These would be options such as lithium-ion batteries, solar panels, upgraded electronics, washer dryers, electric winches, generators, alternators, air conditioning, larger fridges, and so forth. Some of these options we felt were more must-have items rather than options for live-aboard cruising.
Can you see that bottom corner there? Yeah. Handholds.
But the coach roof helm was not without its hazards. Look out!
Sweetie. You just brain yourself on the boom?
I did. On the boom.
I think I might have got that on camera.
Oh my god, my head.
Yeah, that's the boom. She just smacked her head on the boom.
Oh my
suffering brain damage now. This is usually the guest cabin, but it looks like they've turned it into like massive storage laundry room, right?
So this is just a 2-cabin for a 50-footer? Let's see this one.
It's on the other side.
Well, maybe.
Now these are the boats where I'm going to ask Alina to pass the Grey Poupon, sweetie, while I observe the time on my diamond-studded Rolex.
Which you don't have, by the way. The fit and finish and use of higher grade materials were a considerable step up. Lots of space and very well appointed. Privilege had a very unique layout for the master cabin, which was a king-size bed in the very open cabin across the forward bridge deck.
For us, they were an extension of the production class of boats given their lack of performance. You know, that's narrower hulls and lots of weight. And for the most part, they stuck to fairly fixed layouts, but were much higher in quality in terms of fit and finish, and loaded with luxury and tech options. These boats also came in pre-configured with all-in options as standard.
With all these options, loaded in wide hulls, these boats were very heavy and definitely not performance-oriented. They're best suited for those not caring how long it took to get from destination A to B, and who wanted the utmost in luxury and space and primarily enjoyed the boat at anchor or dock.
Boxes labeled of the engine spares, generator spares, water maker spares, electrical spares, plumbing spares, and all the tools. It's all set. Here you have fridge, freezers, ice maker.
By the time we reached the Seawind 1600 on the third day, after collecting a ton of brochures and reviewing countless specifications, comparing features we liked and didn't, we started developing a wish list based on our now better defined wants and needs.
Suddenly, being on the 1600, this boat really started to feel that it was the type of boat we really would be happy with. Performance-oriented, high-quality materials, great covered helm position, and just enough space and luxury to make the boat a comfortable living space. We liked the dagger boards, and we were willing to sacrifice some space for the narrower performance hulls. The Seawind also had a nice open cockpit area with large dual lower helms. We favored this class of boats given its ability to sail upwind. We could argue all day about most cruisers choosing to sail mostly on a beam to broad reach, but I didn't really want to be limited by the inability to sail upwind to reach a destination. Performance boats also have more high-tech building materials to make them lighter and stronger boats. Use of composite materials like carbon fiber and cell cores. We also found that performance boats came with more options with helm positions, flexibility with interior layouts, the use of green technology, which included maximum solar, energy management systems, generator delete options, and lithium-ion power, and so forth.
The Balance was a very nice boat and had very innovative Versa helm, which could switch between an upper exposed helm with a great view of the sails to a lower helm that was completely sheltered and on the same level as the cockpit and salon. It was also one of the first boats where there seemed to be more of an opportunity to configure a greener boat, one that had no generator, one that had solar panels maxed out, with lithium batteries, all electric appliances that are running off inverters, no propane, just diesel for the engines when we need to motor sail. Quality and choice of materials was also excellent, and flexibility with layouts was certainly preferred. The only unfortunate consequence of moving up in performance while keeping the quality, fit, and finish was that the price tag was beginning to climb.
Overall, coming away from Miami, we were particularly impressed with these boats. The Seawind 1600, the Ultramare 50 and 55, the Balance 526.
Hey, we're at the Annapolis Boat Show. It's Monday morning, October 18th, and it's a beautiful day.
Come with us.
This brought us to the Annapolis Boat Show in October 2021. Some of the COVID rules were lifting, and we were now fully vaccinated to start travel again.
We also showed up in Annapolis with a very focused shortlist. We knew we wanted a performance boat, spacious layout. We had a preference for a sheltered forward center helm and optional dual aft helms in either tillers or wheels. Technology we wanted was solar, lots of it. Lithium-ion batteries with everything running off inverters. Large alternators for charging from the diesel engine when there was no sun. We didn't want any gasoline used, no propane, and no generator. So at Annapolis, we were very focused and really only wanted to see HH, who had the new HH50 at the show, Kinetic, who had the new Kinetic 54, and having already spent time on the Balance 526 and Seawind 1600 in Miami, other than the new 482 from Balance we had to look at, we didn't really spend much time with any other manufacturers. A special treat at the show was that we were invited for a half-day test sail on the new Kinetic 54. This turned out to be fantastic as it gave us a chance to validate all the configurations we thought would be best for us.
So at the end of the Annapolis Boat Show, we have narrowed our finalists to the following: Seawind 1600, Balance 526, HH55, and Kinetic 54. Which boat will finally be the one we go with? Each boat has its own strengths and weaknesses. Seawind, certainly the budget boat of the lot. Good layout, but smaller salon and 4 staterooms. Balance, good performance, however, it's quite expensive for being a non-carbon boat. HH55 was the most expensive one, however, it was quite flexible and perceived all-out performance. It had center forward helm, which we certainly wanted. And Kinetic had best internal layout and flexibility. It had a center forward helm and also aft helms. It also was the best value with an all-in approach to pricing.
So stay tuned for the next episode where we reveal which boat we ultimately decided on and why. And we'll also show you some shots of the boat. Anyway, bye for now, folks.